got $1 in a dream, I need a couple cents. I'ma go and sell some preem, pay my mama's rent. But I bought that shit, watch me call the top and shit. I'm confident the cycle ends, and when it does, I'll buy the dip.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is your watch list coming into August 16th, 2019. It's going to be another crazy day, and even if the movements didn't happen yesterday, it was still crazy. Let's get it right out the way. I was wrong. I'm a charlatan, blah, 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 blah. I know I suck, but thankfully there's another day, and another week, and another week after that, and I didn't blow up the Robinhood account or any other account yet, and we're still up. Even if I was down, I'd have another way to put money back in. That's game time, baby. Okay, I got that out the way. But a lot happened today and a lot didn't happen today, and that's where you saw some of the crazy moves. We did break to a lower range, which is important. We bounced extremely hard out of it. We stayed right at the VWAP. A lot of these things and these factors have important implications. However, there wasn't really thing that developed today as far as even news goes. There was some China talks in the morning and this and that, and they were going back and forth saying they're going to have talks. You know, Xi Jinping would say stuff, then Trump, yada, yada, yada. But nothing globally has changed too much except for the bond. Bond rates got smashed across the board. The yield curve reverted back from inverting. It was inverted last night after hours, but coming into the market open, it re-inverted the 2 and the 10-year. But the bond market went crazy. Even if we see TLT, what that did, that play is absolutely insane. Now I'm going to go over my plays for you guys. I got the keys for tomorrow, but that TLT, every $125 has turned into $11,000 on the 145 calls that we bought there. So that was a good play, and if you're still holding it, I sold premium on it the other day. See, I'm down on that, but it's still allowing me to make money even though my gain is capped there. So I know, weird flex, but why I'm saying that is because this is such a crazy move for the bonds. You know, all the bonds globally dropped, and that means people are piling into bonds. So we are going to see a digestion effect. And if we don't see that 1,000 points I was expecting, again, either round trip up or down, and we're going to talk about the plays I made, which highlighted if I was going to be wrong, I made certain plays, but the digestion is going to occur. And like I said a few days ago, the next 14 days are going to be extremely volatile. I still believe that, and even what we're seeing now, if this doesn't highlight volatility, I don't know what does. But either way, tomorrow is going to set up a good opportunity. We're going to go frog hunting. So I have a list of frogs to chase tomorrow. I'm going to go over the frogs, but first we're going to talk about the keys for tomorrow. Then we're going to go over the plays we made, and then we're going to discuss the frog hunting. If you want to see another video on that, go search the Trading Fraternity Frog on YouTube and you'll see it. So let's not waste any time. Make sure you guys are subscribed. We post these nightly watch lists every night to go over the plays that we made live, because we are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open. It's pinned in the comments. First link in the description as well. Drop your thumbs up. And most importantly, you need to post your watch list below. We got to source that information, and we'll see you there pre-market to go over it. Please be positive and respectful. None of this is recommendations to make any investments. Option trading is extremely risky. You can lose all, if not most, of your financial investment. Please consult with a financial advisor. So we got that out the way. Let us talk. We'll go over the plays, keys for tomorrow. Boom, boom, bang. Let's make this bigger for you guys. Boom. The fight is on. The same theories as yesterday's exist. We were just a little bit early, and the fight is literally from this range. What I kept pulling out, if you pull this out on the 1 day, notice when we started hitting below that 286 level, we've pretty much just kept this range the whole time. And then the interesting part about today, the volume level. Still pretty high. It was 101 million closing. Surprisingly high for not too big of a move, but you're seeing what this is setting up. We're either going to break lower or it's going to bounce, and this is really starting to reflect an October-like scenario. So be cautious, because again, with the volume staying high coming into the move, then the big move is being high volume, and then the one after, if the volume doesn't drop off and we still get volatility, which it looks like we might, this is signaling honestly a bigger move ahead. So keep your eyes open, and that's why tomorrow is going to be great, because of the volatility. So I'll get to this here, but let's skip there, man. All that matters tomorrow is volatility. Big swing and big range will bring big frogs, my friend. And that's what we're going to go over, but that's what we have to look for. Approach this with caution. If you gave up money or you struggled this week, you will get better opportunities. I meant to say next week. There you go. There will be opportunities tomorrow, but next week will be even better. You know, somebody even asked me, Boeing is one of the frog plays I'm going to be looking at tomorrow. And someone asked, they're like, hey, should I average down on those daily the contracts that expire tomorrow that we bought at the beginning of the week? week. They were up, then they dropped. And I said, no, we spent $30 for them. You could buy them now for like $16. He's like, I want to buy 3 or 4 of them. But this is the logic of I'm saying, just push it till next week. Even if you bought 3 or 4, you would have spent another $40, $50, $60. You already spent $30 on the first one. And now it's at $100 total. And that trade, if it does even hit tomorrow, if BA drops like $8 or $10 or something like that, you're gonna make $700 still off that amount. It's a fixed gain because it was a spread. So if you put in $100 to get the same exact one, you're just trying to say, I want to make $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 when it's, if the same event occurred and let's say they expired worthless, you're going to either lose, or if it hits, you still would have made a decent amount of money for that investment and on the size of the account. It doesn't make sense to buy that trade this week. Just go wait till next week and buy another one. So be smart with that, people. This even relates now to what I was going to say here. Even being wrong or right, f of x does not equal f of y. The function of x does not equal the function of y. This is Josh Answers Mathematics, even though I suck at mathematics and I still count on my fingers. But still, the function of x would be f being right. You're right on the move. I think this stock is going to go up. I think TLT is going to rip to the moon. Or let me give you a real life example. I think Beyond Meat is going to die. So even if I'm right on that, that does not equal the function of being profitable. Now let me show you the example. Take for instance these Beyonds. Amazing play today. Wow, 1,200%. Fascinating. Damn, this shit was at $3. How come we ain't sold that, Josh? I don't know. But take notice. We are still down on this play because we paid $80 for it from the day we purchased it. However, contract still went up 766% or 1,200 total. Even though we were correct, that did not lead to us being profitable based on the price that we purchased it last week. So what am I trying to tell you, kids? Dude, that was so many voices. But the point of all of this is being, it doesn't matter if you're right. You could be wrong and still make bank, and vice versa. You could be extremely right, but if you don't position yourself in the right vehicle or asset to profit off of it, it's not necessarily going to be a good trade for you. So this is something to keep in mind with either both tomorrow and coming into the rest of this volatility and how to function it, and the effect that's having this. It's the premium, and as you could say IV, you could say data and technicals, whatever you want, but at the end of the day, it's how much did you pay for that option and what was the option implying at that time. With more time in the strike price of where it's at, it was implying that it was going to go down to 134 by this date. So even then, that's still in play, but it makes sense why people aren't spending as much as they are now. So that's going to be an interesting one to see. We will see how that plays out, but hopefully that helps you. So that's pretty much the keys for tomorrow. Now let's talk about the froggers and the plays. Well, let's first even go over the plays I made today. Let's see what got filled. There's going to be 2 on here that didn't show up. I played a Bank of America next week call. I grabbed the August 23rd, $28 calls. I bought those at 12 cents this morning. I bought 2 of them. They're down 50% now. I also got a September FedEx call. Those are also down after commissions like 40%. I got a September 185 for 37 cents, and that I did a few FedEx trades today. Again, that's the bounce plan. Like I told you guys yesterday, I'm going to get short-term and long-term, and then I got a Starbucks September call, a 105 for 39 cents, and that one's down 30%. You see, and I'm telling you these so you guys could see, hey, if I do want to play these bounces, you could see how they valued or some of these plays, and also the effect of happening. Even, we bought them early in the morning, and again, the market goes up, it comes down. This is what a cuckening will look like, and that's what it's going to do to these plays. But those plays alone, and this is what I'm saying, f of x does not equal f of y. I made those plays now, and by calling out what they're down on and watching those, I'm going to use those to average around them, because if they do hit and I end up being right, what is going to determine my profitability is if I either hold them all the way through like the Beyond, or if I find increments and intervals to average down on them and maximize their profits before the move happens and as the price and the premium is showing that it's a better opportunity. So there was those plays. And then now we played in the video. We got an earnings one. I spent $100 on this. I also had another put on the other account that we held from the other day. Those are going to be down. The video went up, but that's still going to be a good frog. I didn't mean to do this play. If that's not a great way to explain a play, I didn't mean to do this, but I did. I had this guy on my shoulder. He was telling me it was going to work, and he said, risk it all. Do it. You're going to get rich tomorrow. And if you don't, who cares? Do it. Copy the trade. Go. So I was like, all right. No, but the spread on this was really, really wide, and it was GE, and they had that news today. The CEO was saying it was a crazy accounting fraud, so we're going to see how that plays out. And that's why I wanted to make sure I got time. So I got December, pretty much saying that the stock would drop 50%. But when I bought it, the spread was really, really high. It was like 9 cents, and I put one halfway in the middle just to see if I'd get filled, and I got filled at 5 cents. So I was like, all right, I took it. It's like $250 to make, I think, a $5,000 max gain because of it. The spread by 50 of the 4s, sell 50 of the 3s. Then I got an Apple spread as a call, and remember, I got FedEx calls, and I got Starbucks calls, and Bank of America calls. And then I grabbed the UVXY, which we talked about. I got that for next week, that same exact spread I was saying, for about $50. And we're holding that. And I did grab another UVXY here too, later in the day when it started to break those key levels. Then I got another FedEx for next week. And then I played a GM to hedge another position that I made. So if you guys were actually, you probably saw that when we made that play, we got those GMs and they're sitting here. Those are $30 to 150, and it's a $38 put. So anything below $38 I make money on. They expire tomorrow. The stock's at 36.47. So I bought a 37 call for $12 because then pretty much if it goes back to 38, that 37 call will be worth 100 and the 38 call will be worthless. Or if it keeps going lower, we could make more money than pretty much $12 if it drops down from there. So those were the plays I made. You could see them all here. Bank of America, Starbucks, UVXY, GE. And that GE is going to be, I think, one to watch, and it's going to be one with waves and cycles. But if the truth comes out on that, that's why, honestly, I would just get time. And if you have a lot of time, you'll thank me on that one. Be careful trying to pinpoint it because it's going to be one of those where maybe there'll be a fiasco for a few weeks on it, maybe a week or two. People will forget about it, and then sometime middle of next month, it's just going to plummet. Like, oh my God, look what we discovered. I can't believe this. How did they get away with this? Oh my gosh, the New York Times writes something about this. My first source would be Boeing to compare that. There's the video, and again, I like FedEx as well too. I'm just waiting on that one, but I think this one's going to be a good one. And even then, you could watch transports, but now let's talk about the frogs. So Beyond is going to be a frog, and I'm going to use this as a good example because you could see I have a video on this, and what the frog means, it's I just wanted to make up a funny technical. You know, everybody out there gets to make their YouTube videos. They get to say, you know, this pattern play. They get to say this picture, the hook, line, and sinker, bear flag. Nah. So I guess having a quote wasn't enough for me. I needed to make some sort of name or something. So we called it the frog because this is a strategy I would do. And I just noticed, I was like, it looks like a frog if you take a close look there, but actually you don't really see them on Beyond today. See, it's really actually hard to see them on Beyond, but what happens here is that what this whole concept is, and it's very, very, you'll see it a lot on a Friday because now all these contracts, if they don't end up in the money, they're going to expire. So now you could get high quality contracts to a degree, all depends on your timing, for a little bit amount of money. And then what else you could do is that the stock will move in the direction of the call, but since there's such high decay because it's expiring today, the stock can move in the direction of the contract, but the contract won't go up in value till it's later. And you'll notice it looks like a frog. You'll see two little eyes form. This is kind of a big frog. That's a huge giant frog actually. But let me see if I can find a better example. So honestly, they're very hard to find in these days right now, just because the volatility's been so high. But you can see it right there. You see how that looks like a frog? Look at that that's a deformed frog. That's how you know it could be very bullish. But look at the GE put, the 850. So pretty much the stock was at 860, and then it drops to 830. The contract goes from 12 cents to 30 cents. But then what happens? The stock bounces, and it does this for a little bit, and then pretty much over time now, the stock is at the same price. But since this contract expires tomorrow, it comes back down to 30 cents. The stock shoots back up, but then you start to notice now, then the stock starts to come back down, and then it starts to frog, and it closes up, and then boom, it frogs past. And that's what we're looking for. And even then, it looks like it's forming again. You could see this little bugger wants to fight there. But that's what we're going to look for. So I'm going to show you companies. These are the ones I've identified as frogs because they've either made big moves, they can make big dollar amounts, and that's the key. If we could play contracts on the daily that are going to be, and again, this is extremely risky. This is probably the most YOLO demon you've ever heard. This is me offering you heroin in the back alley. I'm not even offering it to you. I'm just showing you how I get high, honestly. And if you insist on doing that without reading the instruction manual, be very, very careful. But in all seriousness, this is definitely, and again, you have to put the scoreboard in perspective. Do not get your YOLO demon. You will make better trades going. If you just get a next week, think about it. If you could put $20 on a daily or $20 on a next week on something very volatile, and we're going to get a huge 1,000-point move or something of that nature, the next week is going to be more profitable on you. So don't let your FOMO demon say, I need to get in. I got to get in. You see what he's doing? Look at everybody in there. Look at everybody. They must have a lot of money. They're going to make a lot of money. I heard somebody flexing his gains. We got to get it. Let's get it. Let's go. No, calm down, okay? You're a fiend. Don't expose yourself. You need to show discipline. That'll be good. I'm telling you. Otherwise, the market and the world won't reward you. Don't put that devil on me. Don't curse me. All right? You know what I'm saying? Let's go. Let's get it. But I like McDonald's, so I'm going to look at this for the calls because pretty much what's going to happen here, some of these calls now are going to be in frog zone. You could kind of see it a little bit there. So let's take a look. We have the 2250s already, and you could kind of see how they're going to frog, but I'm sure these are going to look like a good frog already. Now, see, they're actually even going up with it, but wait here, and again, if anything falls out of the money tomorrow, and it looks like it's going to be a trend, usually on the Friday, if it falls out of the money big, it'll be good. So watch McDonald's. That'll be a good frog. NVIDIA with earnings. This is going to be a great one, and it's going to be, we can't see the prices now, but you'll see how some of these contracts that get in the money in the morning, the stock after earnings could fall $3-4 right at open for 1 minute and then shoot back up. I'm going to be looking at those. So NVIDIA, McDonald's, those are going to be good frogs to watch. Walmart, because they had earnings, and now that earnings hangover will go away. We'll see how people respond for that. Boeing is going to be my favorite for both puts or calls, but mainly puts. However, the resiliency it showed today, if it does keep going up, I'm going to be looking at Boeing, and again, it could surprisingly just keep going up. SLV, this could even be a swing. And remember, bonds and then gold. We saw what happened with bonds today. Maybe we'll see what happens tomorrow. And if not, Monday it will be probably a day for silver or gold. Because, again, it's letting that theta and that decline come in there. And that's what we're even seeing there. It hasn't moved after staying there for 3 days. Option prices are going to come down. And then lastly, Regen. If Regen makes a move, but this one isn't as froggy, I just like this one. And we already got that spread yesterday. So watch that. Watch GM. Watch TLT. Because then this could be a great frog too. This is probably going to be my top YOLO play on the short terms, both puts or calls if it makes big moves, if they get cheap enough. But again, we did that last week. It didn't work out. If you even put that same $13 till next week, you would have made way more money than trying to go for the daily. So keep that in mind. And then lastly, beyond, this could be a great frog if it does make those big moves, call or downside. And I'm going to be watching that, and we have all those other plays to manage. But that's your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you post your watch list. Make sure you drop your thumbs up on the video. Make sure you stay hydrated, ready to go. Make sure I see you in the morning, pre-market, baby. It's game time. Let's go.